Easter Saturday, and we are just 2 weeks from the federal election. You will not miss a thing right here on Sky News, and joining me live are former Liberal MP Jason Falinski and Assistant Immigration Minister Matt Thistlethwaite. How are we, gentlemen?
Very well, Timmy. How are you?
Good.
Morning,
good.
Tim. Morning, Jason.
I'll let you start. You're in the studio, Jace. How do you think things look 2 weeks to go?
Oh, mate, I think it's game on now at this point. I think that so far this has been the warm-up, and I think after Easter people are going to start focusing on the really big issues for them, not necessarily for what we think they are. And, yeah, it's very volatile out there. I don't think anyone can call it at this point.
Not a good poll today for Peter Dutton.
No, not a great poll, but during the week there was a poll showing 50-50, which, you know, you want to be ahead. So, look, I think it's fair to say that the first 3 weeks, Albo has done a reasonable job and he's got ahead of Dutt. So there needs to be a lot of focusing in the next 2 weeks to get us back on track, as I think the saying goes.
Matt, what do you think? 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, I agree with Jason. You can't call it. There's still 2 weeks to go and anything can happen. And people start voting, obviously, on the Tuesday after Easter. Our campaign is focused on what Australians are telling us are the major issues: support for cost of living, rebuilding Medicare and increasing the housing supply. And they're the issues that we've been focusing on. But there's still a long way to go in this campaign, and anything can happen. So we're going to continue to focus on those issues that are important to Australians.
Matt, the Indonesia-Russia story, we've just seen it. It's a serious issue that needs to be managed, and it's landed straight in the campaign. What do you make from your position?
Well, no one's raising it with me when I'm door knocking. Obviously, Indonesia is a very, very important neighbour and strategic partner for Australia, and they've given us assurances that there's no intention of Russian aircraft operating out of Indonesia. We accept that assurance on the basis that they're a very, very trusted partner and neighbour within our region. But in terms of the campaign, the issues that are dominating obviously are domestic issues and issues like cost of living and housing that people have at the front of their minds and want the major parties to concentrate on. Do you have such faith?
Look, I think regardless of what the Indonesian government's telling us, the fact is we live in a much more dangerous region than we did 5 years ago. We've had 3 years of the Labor Party spending a lot of money on defence with nothing to show for it. I think we're in a moment when we need serious people to step up. And the intervention of ASPI in the middle of an election campaign, I think, should be a wake-up call to all Australians about the region that we're now living in.
Now, the Trump impact has been significant. Can you remember, Jason, an election campaign where an international leader has had this sort of influence on a campaign?
Well, funny you should say that. The last one I can think of was Matty, I think you were the assistant director of the Labor Party at the time when Bob Carr was running in 2003, and the day the campaign started, George Bush started his invasion of Iraq, and the day after the campaign ended, he entered Baghdad. That's the last time I can think of a US leader being this dominant in the news cycle in Australia.
What about you, Matt, from a government perspective and the influence of Donald Trump?
Look, I think it's in the background. It's not the dominant issue that people are raising when we're out campaigning, but it is in the background because the economic policies of the Trump administration do dominate the news when they're announced and when they're changed. But the major focus is still cost of living, Medicare, and housing. I think people see what's going on in the United States in the context of concern that and I hope that they don't replicate those policies here, particularly Peter Dutton's proposed cuts to the public service. You could say that they're modelled on what's going on in the United States, and people don't want to see those style of policies here in Australia. So not a dominant issue, but it's sort of floating around in the background.
It's Easter and many voters will switch off. Pre-poll early voting starts this Tuesday. Is it all too late to be introducing new policies and ideas now, or can there be a late surge with the correct policy? Just by the way, I know you're at Sir Joseph's Bank Park's park down there in Botany, if people are wondering what those creations are behind you.
2 elephants.
Yeah. One's a hippo, I think. Is it too late for policy?
You're right, Tim. I am at Sir Joseph Banks Park in Botany. This is the site of Sydney's first ever zoo, and hence the animal characters in the background. I don't think it's too late. I think that there's a long way to go in this campaign, and you're going to continue to see both the leaders continue to introduce policies, and you're going to continue to see commitments being made at a local level as well. So I don't think it's too late. I think that there's still a long way to go in this campaign, and minds can change then. And you're starting to get now, I think, a focus from undecided voters and those that perhaps haven't switched on yet. They're starting to focus on the issues, and they'll make their minds up in the coming 2 weeks.
It's quite appropriate. There's always elephants in the room during an election campaign. There always is.
Now he's bringing a hippo to the debate.
All right, we've run out of time. Let's do it again next week when we will be 7 days away from the election. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Jason.
Happy Easter to both of you. That was very, very polite, actually.